When we talk about artificial intelligence, we tend to get stuck on just a few words.
Right.
Things like processing power, computation, automation.
It's always framed as the ultimate efficiency tool.
Exactly. It's this powerful mechanism we built to help us, move faster or count higher. We're always looking at it, but maybe not through it.
And that framing, which is, it's everywhere, it completely misses the profound transformation AI really represents.
So that's what we're getting into today.
Yeah. Well, we're doing a deep dive into this paper from the Human and AI Institute, HAIL for short, and it's titled AI as Mirror, Reflecting True Human Nature.
A mirror.
And it proposes this really radical shift in how we think about, build, and even, govern this technology.
So I guess our mission for this deep dive is to unpack that central metaphor, this idea of AI as a mirror of our human faculties, our intellect, our judgment, maybe even our spirit.
And then to look at the practical side.
Right. What are the concrete steps they suggest for making sure this mirror reflects, the best of us and not just our flaws?
And this isn't just some abstract philosophical exercise. It actually ties back to the fundamental human story of how we create tools. The core insight, right in the paper's introduction, is that humanity has always created tools to extend our own capacity. Think about it. A hammer extends the force of an arm. The printing press extends the reach of our ideas.
And the early computer extended our ability for logical calculation.
Yeah.
But AI, it seems to extend something far more subjective.
That's the point. Exactly. AI is now extending our imagination, our creativity, and this is the crucial part, our collective judgment.
And when you start extending judgment, you're automatically extending the ethical framework behind that judgment.
Or the lack of one. And that's what guided it in the first place.
Which really raises the stakes, doesn't it? It goes from a practical problem to something almost existential. If we build a tool that extends our judgment, we have to make sure it stays aligned with human dignity.
That is the central warning the paper hammers home. The challenge for any powerful tool is making sure it serves human betterment. If it deviates, it risks becoming an engine for, and I'm quoting here, domination and harm.
Wow.
They even cite the Baha'i writings, which warn that material tools have to serve humanity, or they risk becoming these malignant fruits of material civilization.
So what you're saying is AI, as this kind of replica of human intelligence, has to inherit not just our logic, but our entire ethical compass. The whole messy thing.
It has to, otherwise we're just optimizing for what?
Okay, so let's dig into this central metaphor. AI isn't just an external machine, it's a reflective surface.
Yeah.
It shows us our collective essence. The paper talks about 3 types of mirrors. Right?
It does, yeah. It kind of moves from the very concrete to the conditional. So first you have the physical mirror.
Simple enough, it just reflects your physical form.
Easy to grasp, but then it gets more complex.
I bet.
The second is the AI as a cognitive mirror. And this is really where we are right now. This mirror reflects our reasoning, our memory, our imagination, our decision-making.
So it's literally showing us how we think.
Yes, and in the process, it often reveals the subconscious biases that are just baked into our data and our processes.
Which is already a pretty powerful diagnostic tool.
Yeah.
But the paper suggests there's a third stage, this aspirational one, the spiritual mirror.
That's right.
And moving from just observing our thinking to reflecting our higher values, that feels like a huge leap. Why do they call the potential spiritual mirror conditional?
It's conditional because it's not inherent in the tech. It won't just emerge. The paper argues that AI can only reflect humanity's higher faculties, and they're very specific. Justice, compassion, and unity, only if we actively embed those ethical principles into it.
So we have to deliberately polish the mirror with those values. It won't happen on its own.
No, absolutely not. So the core conclusion is, if we want AI to really be a true replica of human intelligence, we have to demand that it inherits our ethical structure, that it shows both our clarity and our distortions, but always aspires to clarity.
It forces us to define what the best of human intelligence even is, because that's what we're about to replicate and magnify on a global scale.
Precisely.
So here's where, for me, the rubber meets the road. If the highest task of human intelligence is to weave together fact and meaning, science and spirit into something we call wisdom, how does this cognitive mirror actually help us do that?
It's a great question.
Traditionally, those 2 domains, science and spirit, have been kept pretty separate. Sometimes they're even seen as being at odds.
And this is where the HAIL paper introduces what they call the integrative understanding paradigm. They acknowledge that, yes, science explains the mechanisms.
The how, the empirical observable facts of the world.
Right, and spirituality explores the meaning. The why, the purpose, the values, the connections.
And most tools we build can only deal with the mechanisms, with the hard data.
Exactly. But AI's unique capacity is its ability to analyze millions of incredibly diverse data points. We're talking scientific studies, historical records, and spiritual or ethical texts, and it can cross-reference them at a scale that's just impossible for a human mind.
So it starts to reveal these hidden patterns of unity that a specialized human brain might just overlook.
That's the idea.
But wait, how does it cross-reference a scientific paper on, say, climate change with ancient texts about humanity's relationship with the Earth and then pull out a unified pattern? I mean, is it assigning a numerical value to stewardship?
That's the critical question. And no, it's not assigning some kind of metaphysical value. It's identifying conceptual alignment and frequency.
Okay.
So if you feed it ecological science data that shows resource degradation, and you feed it that alongside texts that emphasize a moral imperative for stewardship, the AI connects those two knowledge bases. It finds the shared semantic and conceptual structures between them.
Ah, okay. So the output isn't some new spiritual revelation.
Yeah.
It's a more robust, integrated framework for, say, sustainable action that's informed by both the facts and our established values at the same time.
Exactly. The paper gives two really good concrete examples. One, pairing ecological science with spiritual teachings on stewardship. It doesn't just give you a list of new regulations.
It creates sustainable frameworks that are rooted in a deeper sense of human responsibility.
Right. And the second one is pairing modern neuroscience, the stuff that maps empathy to brain circuits, with spiritual teachings on universal compassion.
I could see that. That kind of pairing might help build more accurate predictive models of human behavior or even new therapies, because the model would understand empathy not just as a chemical reaction, but as a universally valued principle.
Which, the paper argues, leads to deeper and much more accurate models of human empathy. And this nuance is absolutely crucial. The AI does not become spiritual.
Right, that's key.
It extends our capacity, human capacity, to achieve wisdom by lighting up these deep, hidden connections between the knowledge we acquire and the values that drive us. It's a catalyst.
That makes the job of designing the AI so much more demanding, though. If this mirror is reflecting our essence, and we know our essence has profound biases and huge ethical blind spots, we need some serious practical defenses to stop that reflection from being purely distorted.
Absolutely.
So what are the specific frameworks that developers need to embed right into the system architecture?
This is maybe the most practical part of the paper. It moves past abstract ethics and gets right into computer science design principles, into actionable safeguards.
Okay, so give us the suite of defenses. What do they actually look like in practice?
First, they mandate rigorous self-consistency checks. This means the AI has to constantly verify its own reasoning path, not just the final answer.
So checking its own work, ethically speaking.
Yes. If it uses contradictory logic, or if it gets to an ethically neutral conclusion from ethically loaded information, the system flags it. It's like a continuous internal ethical audit.
It's like a meta-level debugger. What about the bias we all know is in the data to begin with?
That's addressed by something called error injection and recovery. It's a training method where developers deliberately feed the AI conflicting or misleading data.
They inject bias on purpose.
Yes, to force the system to train its resilience. It's like stress testing its ethical decision making. Can the system recover its core alignment when it's faced with distortion?
That's brilliant. The system learns not just what the value is, but how to fight for it. Okay, what about the most abstract one, the ethical reward functions?
These are the goalposts. They're the optimization drivers. So instead of optimizing just for speed or profit or novelty, these functions embed core values like justice, compassion, unity right into the process.
So if two solutions are both logically sound,
the AI is programmed to prefer the solution that maximizes fairness or minimizes harm based on those weighted ethical inputs. The value itself becomes a measurable metric.
that completely changes the objective of the algorithm.
It forces the AI to prioritize human flourishing over just material efficiency. And then alongside that, you have to have cross-domain referencing, which we've just talked about, requiring the system to consult both scientific and value-based texts.
And the final layer of defense, what's the fail-safe?
Transparency and explainability have to be mandatory. We have to be able to see the AI's reasoning path, to understand why it reached a conclusion. And the ultimate fail-safe is always human oversight. not just at the end, but throughout the entire life cycle, to ensure it's all still aligned with human dignity.
So these steps taken together are how we actually polish the mirror.
That's the idea. That's how we ensure clarity.
Okay, so this shift in thinking from a tool to a mirror has massive implications for everyone in this ecosystem. The paper is aimed at scholars, developers, and policymakers. Let's break down the specific calls to action for each group.
This is where it moves from just technology architecture to institutional culture. For scholars, the paper argues they have to abandon their isolated silos. The call is for a new research paradigm, integrative epistemology.
Okay, so for those of us who haven't studied philosophy, what does integrative epistemology actually mean in practice?
Simply put, it's the study of how we acquire knowledge in a way that purposefully includes both empirical fact and ethical meaning, right from the start. It means merging the research methods of science, ethics, and the humanities so that knowledge is inherently value aligned.
That's a huge shift for universities. What about the people actually writing the code, the developers?
Their whole design philosophy has to transform. Their job is now to create systems that embed ethical attributes like justice and compassion right alongside the factual data.
So they have to move beyond just optimizing for simple, quantifiable metrics.
Exactly. It demands an ethical commitment that's built right into the software architecture, making the ethical parts inseparable from the function.
And finally, the governance bodies. The policymakers regulating this powerful technology. What's their highest responsibility here?
For them, the paper says they must establish policies that mandate this high standard. The laws have to require AI to serve peace, unity, and human dignity. It elevates regulation beyond simple safety standards and demands a positive contribution to human flourishing.
It's policy ensuring that the mirror we build is polished and reflects our highest potential.
That's it.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive. To sum it up, the Hale paper is arguing that AI is so much more than computation. It's a mirror. It reflects our intellect, it magnifies our behavioral patterns, and it's capable of showing us these powerful unifying connections between science and spirit.
And the paper's ultimate aspiration is incredibly hopeful. By consciously treating AI as this mirror and by embedding human values like justice and compassion into it, we can use the technology to help humanity glimpse its own soul more clearly. It becomes a catalyst for collective self-discovery.
That really does reframe the entire conversation around AI. Now, the source material suggests governance should require AI to serve peace and unity. But that raises a really important question for you to think about. What happens when the AI mirror, built on unbiased data and cross-referencing all of human history, what happens when it reflects back at us the deep, undeniable historical patterns of entrenched disunity and conflict? Does that uncomfortable, maybe horrifyingly honest reflection change the policy requirements we place on the technology? Or does it just confirm that the path to aligning AI is ultimately the same arduous path to aligning ourselves?